what is it that made you be concerned about the youngsters?
जब आप एक रिलीजियस घर से होते हैं ना, नमाज डिफॉल्ट है, रोजा डिफॉल्ट है, लेकिन जब आप स्कूल जाते हो उधर आपको एहसास होता है ये तो डिफॉल्ट है ही नहीं. Am I a Muslim? Am I religious just because of my family? Why am I following religion? Why this?
I, as a growing kid, was very reflective. मैं सोचता बहुत था. That made me very curious about everything. Why don't we look around us? Why isn't anybody concerned about what's outside? Why don't we learn more about the universe?
I remember back in my day, it was 2003 when I got inclined towards religion. Social media nahi tha. YouTube ka koi source nahi tha. Had no idea whatsoever. I was like watching everyone dancing on the floor. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Dawa and plane. Yeah, you're interested in planes, right?
I'm still interested in planes,
yeah.
100%.
Kind of like a very dangerous combination. Not that you talk about. If I ask you, and you have to be completely honest.
Okay.
Okay. Not that you have to be able to open up a lot of secrets. What's the most bizarre thing that you've ever eaten?
Cerelac, that's coming to my mind. Yeah, because I have it all the time. I love it.
Cerelac.
The red beans, it looked like somebody just puked in a cup.
Okay. I was about to say, now you're making me hungry, but you added the word puke to it. One piece of advice you would go back and tell your younger self.
If you think Allah loves you, know that He won't give up on you. So don't give up on yourself.
Whenever you make dua, you're gonna be there.
If you had to live in another country, which country would it be and why?
Oh, it would be hands down Medina. तुम्हारे लिए मुश्किल हो गया कि आप तो मदीना नहीं कहोगे, तो you get judged. You can say London.
I was going to say Los Angeles now, so thanks for killing it.
मैंने सरफराज की तरह, my answer also the same.
Achha, my answer is also the same. Next time I'll let you answer first.
Firstly,
yeah. जी. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to our podcast show. आज का शो बहुत स्पेशल है बिकॉज आज मेरे साथ जो है शो में हमारे यंगस्टर्स, हमारे जो यंग दावा जो टीम है उसको हमने अपने शो में शामिल किया है, एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व, एंड आई लेट देम इंट्रोड्यूस देम सेल्फ. आज शो जो हम बात करेंगे इंशाअल्लाह ताला बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि जो पेरेंट्स हमें सुनते हैं, जो यंगस्टर्स हमें सुनते हैं, दे get to be represented in a proper manner in our show, to be able to know कि currently क्या challenges हैं, what are they facing, what's the issue amongst the youngsters right now, what are they listening to, parents को क्या चीज़ के बारे में awareness रहनी चाहिए, and a lot of stuff. So आज ख़ास तौर से मैंने request करके मैंने बुलाया है अपने दो younger brothers को, and I'm glad that they were able to join us on a podcast today. So, Rohel, how are you?
I'm good. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It's an honor.
कैसा लग रहा है?
Alhamdulillah, it's pretty cool.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So, how's life going? कैसा चल रहा है सब कुछ?
Life is great. Going to uni in 2 days. So, yeah, it's going to be different suddenly.
Inshallah, mashallah. और हमारे साथ हसन मौजूद हैं. Hasan, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
How's life?
Alhamdulillah.
I'm meeting you after a long time.
I'm meeting you after a long time.
चले पॉडकास्ट के बहाने आपसे मुलाकात भी होगी.
बिल्कुल.
चले माशाल्लाह. So before we begin, Rohel, I'll start with you and I'll ask you to just introduce yourself. एक brief introduction दे दीजिए about yourself and what do you do and what are you involved in, so that the audience can actually get a better perspective regarding it.
All right. So as you said, my name is Rohel. I graduated from Karachi Grammar School in 2020. Okay. I'm currently in my 3rd year at LUMS, which I just said inshallah 2 दिन में जा रहा हूँ. So that's my education wise. But other than that,
सही टाइम पे पकड़ लिया मैंने आपको. 2 दिन बाद आप मेरे हाथ में नहीं आते.
हाँ, 2 दिन बाद inshallah I'll be in Lahore. But yeah, other than that, I'm obsessed with dawah work. I'm actively involved in Karachi, alhamdulillah.
Mashallah.
Working with a couple of brothers, friends. Hassan's one of them.
Barakallah.
So yeah, that's just back-to-back work there.
I'll ask you in detail how you got into it, and
sure.
Because it's very important कि आपको क्या चीज़ है which gets you hooked towards it.
Done.
And a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions regarding it. जब हम आ रहे थे दीन की तरफ, and हमें क्या चीज़ थी जो उसने इस काम में रखा. So it's very important कि वो youngsters को पता चले. Hasan.
So my name's Hassan. I graduated from University College London. In fact, my last exam was a week ago. So alhamdulillah, now done with my bachelor's.
Alhamdulillah.
It's almost like me and Rohel, academically we were from 2 different sides.
Sahi.
But we sort of united in that dawah work.
Sahi.
I actually started all this dawah work with Youth Club.
सही.
And uske baad mein, along with some friends, we started another organization.
Mashallah.
And basically, we're just involved in working with the youth. And trying to discuss their problems, viewing them in the light of Islam, understanding their issues, listening to them,
सही.
and giving it a go, trying to solve their problems.
अच्छा.
So, alhamdulillah, it seems to be going well, and I'm definitely willing to share my insights and to learn from you as well.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, definitely. दोनों आप दोनों से सवाल ही है. देखिए, I have a different story. मेरा experience different रहा, which made me get into this whole dawa thingy. And but मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, just let the audience know. Of course, a little bit of past background.
Yeah.
As youngsters, of course, grammar school, I think Nixer ka mahal or schools ka mahal, universities ka mahal, is completely different. And very few people would be able to comprehend, understand कि उनको समझ में आया कि यार क्यों इस काम में लगे, and क्यों इसमें क्या लोग पूछते हैं कि यार ठीक है फ्यूचर क्या है. So what got you hooked towards it, and the other thing कि what is it that made you be concerned about the youngsters, आज की जो younger generation, because you guys are very young, mashallah, और ये of course Allah की तौफीक के बगैर नहीं होता, but what made you be so concerned about the youngsters that you wanted to be able to come into this dawa thing? That's right.
Sure. First of all, it's just going to be injustice to my mother, my father, and my Ustad Sadiq bin Sadiq to say that it was just me. It definitely wasn't just me coming to a realization. It just, alhamdulillah, came from a background that supported me a lot in terms of religion. But what होता ये है कि जब आप एक religious घर से होते हैं ना, तो कोई चीज़ें default होती हैं. नमाज default है, रोज़ा default है. लेकिन जब आप स्कूल जाते हो, उधर आपको एहसास होता है ये तो default है ही नहीं.
सही.
So then you start to question why am I following religion? Why this? Why do I listen to hadith? Why does the hadith affect me? These questions, like, am I a Muslim? Am I religious just because of my family? That's not very exciting. I want to be religious, or I want to love Islam because of myself. I want to find it myself. So what happens when you come in this situation is that you want to understand why you're following Islam. And for that, you need to solve big questions. And what's amazing is these questions are the questions everyone has around you. For example, what's the authenticity of hadith? For example, why is there evil in this world? For example, why is Islam take on this manner, such. So in order to believe in Islam, you need to find the answers. And when you start finding answers, you realize not only are you helping yourself, now you can answer your friends, the people around you. You can उनको जवाब दे सकते हो. तो जब आप उनको एक दोस्त के एक उनकी लेवल पे आके एक बात बोलते हैं ना, उसका इफेक्ट बहुत स्ट्रांग आता है.
True.
और उस पे एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हुई कि यार रोहेल, तुम्हारी कहने से ये बंदा बदल रहा है. उसके माँ बाप बोले, वो मस्जिद में सुन के उसको नहीं इफेक्ट हो रहा जो तुम्हारा इफेक्ट हो रहा है. तो विद दैट कम्स अ सेंस ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के Allah brought me up in this household with this education. There must be a reason. How many people are there who have these both resources? So when I felt that sense of responsibility, I was like, that's it. I have to give back. I have to get involved. I have to do justice to all the resources Allah's given me. And yeah, that's what motivates me a lot.
So did you have this kind of a challenge? Because mashallah, आज के टाइम पे आप लोगों के पास resources बहुत available है.
Yeah.
आपके पास different organizations की varieties available है. आपके पास learning opportunities available है. I remember back in my day, it was 2003 when I basically got inclined towards religion. 2003.
Wow.
Social media नहीं था. Books नहीं, like कहते हैं ना कि आपको अगर books चाहिए होती थी, I used to get them photostated. मैंने उसको लेके जो है ना copy करवाता था. YouTube का as such कोई source नहीं था. Had no idea whatsoever. So आज है ना इसके अलग challenge, of course they're available, but kids get more confused. So I believe कि इस distraction में, इस confusion में इतना बड़ा अल्लाह सुब्हानहू तआला की तरफ से blessing होता है कि अगर कोई बच्चा अगर उस environment से उठ के इस काम में involve होता है, and not just involved in it but passionate about it.
Yeah.
So Hassan, your side of what made you get involved in it?
One of the reasons why I think Rohit and I are such good friends is because both of us are so different in our personalities. My background the reason why I came to Deen to begin with is almost like the reason why we're staying is one reason, but the reason why we came to it was two different reasons. I, as a growing kid, was very reflective. मैं सोचता बहुत था, and that made me very curious about everything. And one of the things that made me curious about was basically our universe and science and space and everything that's around us. To me, it felt like the world was just too small to just be the. I mean, the entire conversation is centered around this world. Why don't we look around us? Why isn't anybody concerned about what's outside? Why don't we learn more about the universe? So the thoughts they reached a point where I started developing an interest for science, an interest for physics, or obviously, with how, if you remember the camping experience, and I was teaching everybody about the stars, and that sort of curiosity just made me think more about how the universe is made. Or karte karate, I reached a point where I was questioning many things, and it came to a point where my questions were questions which I shouldn't have had if my basis in Deen was set. But that was a natural consequence of me being very, very curious. और obviously मैं सोचता होता था, we're not accountable for our thoughts. लेकिन अगर मेरे पास वो backing होती, तो मुझे at least वो answers मिल जाते. खैर, alhamdulillah, I got an admission in University College London. I went there, started studying physics. Very enjoyable. Alhamdulillah, first few months in the honeymoon phase with physics. Doing all the research, staying in libraries. So I enjoyed it a lot. And then came a point where I was living in central London. And I would, Wednesday nights go hota hai sports night. And sports night is basically when all the people involved in sports, they go out and drink. And they go to their bars and they have what they call a pub crawl. Where what you do is you start off with one pub, you start drinking over there, and then you're supposed to go to another one, and then you go there. And throughout the night, you're practically crawling towards the next pubs because you're absolutely gone. You're drunk. Or raat ko, and it's not even too late night, 10 o'clock, 10:30, when I would be going back home from the library. There was one such experience which made me think, wow, this is not what I thought the UK is. This is not that progressive.
True.
Or what I was just walking, and what I saw was one guy completely out of not in his senses. एक shop के बाहर वो लेटा हुआ था.
सही.
And the window of the shop was reflective. So he looks at himself and he starts shouting at himself. What are you doing with your life? What's wrong with you? And he's shouting at himself, and he's drunk. He's completely gone. It was just weird because to me it felt like he got into this himself, and he's not even in his senses right now, but he is telling himself what have we got into, and he's homeless. He has a sleeping bag right beside the window, and he's shouting at himself. And then just a couple lanes ahead, this is Tottenham Court Road, by the way. It's not a very far-fetched place. It's right in the center of London. A random guy just taking stuff out of a trash can, throwing it out.
Acha.
Like what?
Acha, this side of the picture of so-called progressive countries, ये कोई बात नहीं करता. And people tend to have a very beautiful image about certain countries. They don't realize the challenges or जो issues involved हैं. One of the things which I am able to understand, जो मेरे साथ भी है, which is common, जो हम सब youngsters की age में, is at an early age कि हमने इस बात की realization कर ली कि अल्लाह सुब्हाना व ताला ने हमें कितना नवाजा है. Even though in our country there might be several issues, but at the same time there's so many things that we take for granted. And yes, lack of opportunities. Maybe जैसा आपने शुरू में बोला ना, देखिए शुरू में तो you have to be able to get out of that circle. सवाल पूछने का हमारा भी था, and हमेशा मैं youngsters को हमेशा कहता हूँ कि ना, there is no issue asking questions regarding how weird they be, because the attitude needs to be, are you questioning about Islam or are you questioning Islam? Are you just questioning for the sake of questioning? Because Quran आपको बोलता है ना कि you need to be inquisitive about things to be able to know more. And every individual is going to be different. और अगर उसको नहीं मिलता ना, this is a very crucial stage कि अगर उसको सही mentor मिल जाए, उसको सही guide करने वाला मिल जाए ना, तो उसको उसकी questioning को जो है ना थोड़ा ज़रा mellow down करते हैं. But any case, मैं जो बात बोल रहा हूँ कि हमारे youngsters जो है ना, one of the reason why they want to go out is because they think कि जो है ना कि उनको उस progressiveness में ज़्यादा intellectualism मिलेगी. बट वेरी फ्यू आर एबल टू एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट कि देखिए वो जो उधर का बैड साइड है ना, वो कितना डिट्रीमेंटल होता है आपके लिए, फ्यूचर के लिए, आपकी कैरेक्टर के लिए, आपकी मॉरल लाइफ के लिए. एंड देयर सेवरल अदर पीपल, जैसे लाइक आई वुड पर्सनली टॉक अबाउट माई लाइफ. I think being able to be there at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. parties, everything, there comes a point कि अल्लाह ताला की blessing होती है कि आपके अंदर जो है ना उसकी desire और उसकी जो प्यास होती है ना वो ख़त्म होना शुरू हो जाती है. आप बोलते हैं what is going on, what am I doing, why am I over here रात के 4 बजे on the dance floor like an idiot doing what? Why is it fascinating me? What am I doing? I could be doing something constructive. And I remember personally, मेरे साथ था, it was 4 a.m. अब तो ख़त्म हो गया है, जिस कराची में किस ज़माने में क्लब्स होते थे, तो I was like 4 a.m. I was sitting right in the corner. मैं कोने में बैठा था यूं करके. I was like watching everyone dancing on the floor. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Am I supposed to be doing this? And now I realize कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने मुझे कहा ना कि यार जाओ अंदर, चाहे देखना है ना यार, just see the real side of it. And the point that I'm coming to is like, ये भी अल्लाह की बड़ी नेमत होती है कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला आपको किसी चीज़ की नेगेटिविटी दिखा दें ताकि आप पहले से बच जाओ. वरना some people actually even 40s तक चले जाते हैं, उनकी ये fascination और ये लाइफ और ये pubs और ये ख़त्म नहीं होती, because they haven't been able to fulfill that very vacuum in their life of being able to have fun. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला का शुक्र इसलिए अदा करें कि अल्लाह ताला बेचारा, जैसे रोहिल कह रहे हैं ना कि आई कम फ्रॉम अ रिलीजियस फैमिली. आई नो सो मेनी फैमिलीज जिनके बच्चे रिलीजियस फैमिली से हैं बट दे नॉट रिलीजियस. और क्यों? बिकॉज वो चीज़ ट्रांसफर नहीं हुई, वो चीज़ इन्वायरमेंट नहीं हुई. अगर आपको इन्वायरमेंट ना मिले, ऐसी कंपेनियनशिप ना मिले, तो आप और आपका या मेरा किसी का भी रुकना दीन में शायद वो इन्वायरमेंट नहीं होगा. So I think it's very important that we realize कि यंगस्टर्स के लिए जो हम बात शो में करना चाह रहे हैं कि आपके बच्चे को लेक्चर्स, लंबी लंबी बातें के अलावा उसको माहौल चाहिए. अगर आप माहौल नहीं दोगे तो आई थिंक इट्स जस्ट नॉट गोइंग टू बी वर्थ इट.
You have to ask yourself a question कि ये बच्चा क्यों जा रहा है,
सही
पार्टी पे क्यों जा रहा है.
सही.
हर किसी को थोड़ी पता है कि मज़ा आएगा, वो तो क्यूरियोसिटी है ना, क्यों जा रहा है. उसकी बहुत, I'm not gonna sit here and say कि एक ही वजह है, बहुत वजह होती हैं, but one significant element is just entertainment, just fun, just giving yourself a break. Now the question is, उनको वो break घर पे नहीं मिल रहा, उनको वो break स्कूल में नहीं मिल रहा, उनके पास कोई outlet ही नहीं है. तो यही होता है ना कि when your fun quota or your relaxation quota isn't filled, अब आप ढूंढोगे उसको कोई ना कोई तरीके से. अब रात 12 बजे आप फिल करो, जो भी आपको फिल करना है, ठीक है. अगर आप इसी बच्चे को इसका आउटलेट दे दें, if you give him a religious environment but he has fun, he has sports, more fun than you have in school, what was going to happen? Naturally he's going to get inclined towards deen. It's as simple as that. But the issue happens is that when they haven't reached the quota, they think that that's it. बस वो मुझे पार्टी पे जाना है, मजा आएगा. That curiosity and that lack of, for example, reaching that goal, that's what keeps that child clouded. He's clouded from the truth. It's only when he gets that fulfillment कि यार मुझे मजा आया, does he start to think, realize. For example, भूख जब लगी होती है, there's a thing called, what's it called? Hungry? Something like that. When you're really hungry, you get angry. Why are you getting angry? Because आपको एक खाना चाहिए और कुछ और समझ नहीं आ रहा. खाना मिल गया, now you can think peacefully. That's the same case with fun. You want fun so badly, you're so restricted, you're tired of school, studies, your parents, you want to have fun, you're not thinking straight. But once you have that fun, you look back and you're like, oh, that was messed up. I didn't need to do that. मुझे करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं थी. तो instead of making that child have fun at a concert or a school party, उसको अगर हम एक इस्लामिक environment दे दें जहाँ उसको बहुत मज़ा आए, उसको मज़ा आया, अब वो उसका कोटा पूरा हो गया, अब वो सोचेगा, जहन उसका चलेगा, वो क्लाउड हट गया, अब वो सोचेगा कि यार what was better, कि यार जो मैं दीन का काम किया तो मज़ा आया. You start thinking straight.
And it was meaningful.
Yeah, it's meaningful. And when you start thinking straight, you realize that, yo, this is so much better coming to the religious side than going into that depressing hole. You know, it's like what Hassan said. It's once you get there, it's depressing. You get exposed to so many problems. आप एहसास होता है कि कोई भी खुश नहीं है. In fact, there was this person I knew, and I always thought that this guy has the life. he's the guy, you know. He was amazing at studies, amazing at sports, every extracurricular. He was on top of the game. One day I was just sitting with him, and then he starts to talk. He tells me about his problems, family problems, depression problems. He has, I don't know, weird azmaishein, and I don't want to take their names on camera, but ajeeb or ghareeb azmaishein mein he was facing those. And I'm like, Allahu Akbar, he's the last person I want to be. That's the only one I got to spend time with him.
At times you don't know the kind of struggles other people are going. हम उसको एक I think 5 to 10% उसकी ज़िंदगी का देखते हैं. Maybe that these issues were what was making him focus on studies and other stuff.
Yeah.
And एक जो चीज़ मैं बात करूँगा जो आप लोग भी हाईलाइट कीजिए कि about nowadays youngsters के ऊपर जो social pressure है, because younger age में एक बहुत outside environment में डाल देते हैं, and वो outside environment ये बताती है कि देखिए आप लोग तफरीह के लिए जो है ना कॉन्सर्ट्स में जाना है, पार्टीज में हो, रिलेशनशिप में हो, and then they get conditioned to be able to acquire that in their life. एंड शायद इसको हासिल करने में शायद उनको 30 years या 30 साल की उम्र भी क्रॉस करने की लग जाती है. बट स्टिल वो जैसा अभी रोहिल कह रहा था कि वो जब दीनी एनवायरनमेंट में आते हैं ना तो दे हैव अ विजन, दे हैव अ ट्रैक. एंड वन ऑफ द रीजन वो द एग्जांपल गिवन फॉर हिदाया इज कि आप एक कश्ती में बैठे हुए हो पर आपके पास वो पैडल नहीं है, ठीक है, बट आपकी जो भी वेव आ रही है वो आपकी कश्ती को ले जा रही है. बट वंस यू हैव द गाइडेंस you're able to have that control, that you can have a direction, that you can take your boat in the right direction in spite of the fact कि आपकी ज़िंदगी में किस तरह के trials आ रहे होंगे. So what are the basic challenges youngsters are facing these days? क्या चल रहा है? Is it basically lack of vision, focus? What do you think? Like, because आप लोगों ने माशाल्लाह से interact किया है, so I'll ask you Hassan कि क्या challenges हैं? Because I feel there's so many parents who don't know what their children are going through.
One very fundamental need that kids have when they turn 11, 12, 13, 14, right when they're going through puberty. Obviously, with all the other desires, one very fundamental need that they have is the need to feel belonged. The need to feel belong somewhere. Whether it's their home, if they don't feel belonged at their home, then they would find the validation from somewhere else.
True.
अब वो belong होना चाह रहे हैं, whether it's a friend circle. Now, this can be a positive thing. It can also be a negative thing.
This is where all the heartbreaks happen, right?
Exactly, because you obviously want to feel belong and part of a friend circle, or if your friend circle is not good, but you have the need to feel belong, और आप उसी friend circle के साथ रहेंगे. It's very hard to break off from that point. What I feel is, and what I've seen is, all these kids, they never find a place where they can find good company, good companionship, a place where they can go, as Rohel said, to actually have fun, right? And not just watch other people have fun and be like, yaar, मैं तो मैं कर नहीं सकता, इस चीज़ से भी रोक रहा है, उस चीज़ से भी रोक रहा है. And this becomes the root of the problems then. Because if they, for example, many religious parents, their kids are not particularly religious and even may develop a hatred towards religion. Why? Because throughout the life, they've just been asked not to do it, not to do it. And now when they see other people having fun, they feel, why isn't this for me? Waji bhai, you have no idea. As soon as you give them a community to feel belonged, it takes a few weeks for them to they just keep coming. And they want that place. And they actually develop a junoon for that place. And they want to feel belonged, they want to feel accepted. उसके बाद आहिस्ता आहिस्ता ये जो भी उनके मसले होते थे ना, once you're close to that, once you've developed a good mentor relationship, once you've found a mentor, उसके बाद वो जाके अपने प्रॉब्लम शेयर करना शुरू करते हैं. फिर वो बताते हैं कि जैसे कि मुझे whether it's a relationship problem, whether it's a salah problem, whether it's any other thing that bothers them, then they start sharing that. But one thing that's always worked, and if you look at the sunnah, if you look at the seerah, everybody was so connected to each other.
True.
It was an actual definition of a brotherhood. One person would feel hurt, everybody is actually hurt. And they want to solve the problem together. It was a togetherness, which we've lost somewhere down the line.
True.
So I think if we revive that, if we create an Islamic community where all of us can get together, have a ton of halal fun, constant halal fun, and let the kids be themselves and ask their questions and not judge them for it. That's, for me, in my experience, that's the best way to solve the issues that they have.
And that's the very definition of tarbiyah. Because हम एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं कि बच्चों को शायद हम लेक्चर सुना देंगे, हम बच्चों को शायद दीनी बातें सुना देंगे, बातें कर देंगे, किताबें दे देंगे. दैट्स जस्ट गोना बी इट. Whereas हमारी ज़िंदगी में it would take us a whole life experience to be able to come towards religion. And we would expect कि बच्चे जो है ना like a snap हो. What they don't realize is कि बच्चों के पास एक बहुत बड़ा एक चैलेंज है बाहर. Because the more वो religion की तरफ आएंगे उनको उतनी isolation feel होगी. And वो isolation feel होगी तो वो बोलेंगे मुझे alternative नहीं है. And if they don't have a sense of belonging, they don't have a community, they don't have a group of friends, they don't have an alternative जो अब उनको बाहर सोसाइटी दे रही है, you would see them becoming rebellious. And everyone would have a different level of reaction आप उसके अपने rebellion में, कि वो शायद घर छोड़ के चले जाए, शायद उसका अंदाज हो कि ठीक है वो नमाज पढ़ना छोड़ दे. So parents would need to understand कि देखिए आपने खाली बच्चे को बात बता दी would not be good and might work at times, but you need to be able to understand the challenges they're going through. So आजकल अगर मैं बात बोलूँ कि बच्चे किस तरह की challenges से गुजर रहे हैं in terms of what is it like, it's like frame of reference उनका Netflix है, किस हद तक है उनकी क्या चीज़ group of friends की माहौल में फ़र्क है, या it's the drug issues, मेन इश्यूज म्यूजिक है क्या, what are the basic hurdles जो आपको इस एनवायरनमेंट में लेके आने में भी फील होते हैं कि बच्चे इसमें इन्वॉल्व है और हम इसको इसकी वजह से उनको लेकर यहाँ पे नहीं आ पा रहे. what are the challenges?
I think जब मैं यूनिवर्सिटी गया ना, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह यूनिवर्सिटी मेरी बहुत डाइवर्स है, हर तरह का बच्चा आया हुआ है. जो भी दीन से दूर थे ना, मैंने एक कॉमन डिनोमिनेटर देखा, वो एक sudden desire for experimentation. This is something new I learned. I thought of this until I got to university. There's this desire for experimentation. कि यार यही साल है, अभी कर सकता हूँ experiment. And this actually ties into the whole thing Hassan talked about. I'll explain how. Why does a child want to experiment with things? Either hasn't felt belong, either hasn't felt loved, either hasn't felt at peace, दोस्त नहीं थे, depression था, जो भी, उसको हुआ कि यार मैं कुछ नया करता हूँ ताकि शायद मुझे उसमें जवाब मिल जाए. अब वो यूनिवर्सिटी आते हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी में क्या नहीं आपको मिल सकता, आपके दीन के सबसे बड़े गुनाह एट द फिंगर टिप्स पे हैं, ड्रग्स, गर्ल्स, मैन, व्हाट यू नेम इट, लाइक एवरी सिंगल प्रॉब्लम इज फुली अवेलेबल. सो दे आर इन दिस एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन मोड, and then they start this journey, and I'll explain the journey. In fact, कुरान में भी ये journey जिक्र किया है, गालिबन सूरह नूर में, but I'm not exactly sure. इसमें होता है कि सिरात पे जो आपके believers हैं और disbelievers हैं, उनके बीच में एक मुकालमा होता है.
True.
तो जो believers थे ना, वो disbelievers को कहते हैं कि आप वही लोग हो जो अपने आप को फितने में डालते थे. Experimentation, अपने आप को फितने में डालते थे, और यही होता है. Due to the desire for being loved, friendship, you put yourself in a new situation, an experimental situation for the sake of being loved, and that's fitna. You're putting yourself in, you're going into a party or spending time with people, drinking and doing all sorts of nonsense. You've put yourself in that fitna. Now what happens? शुरू में तो नहीं होता, फिर क्या होता है? You get very desensitized to it, and थोड़े दिनों बाद you end up doing that sin. Now this is something very interesting. I see it in front of me, and मैं पढ़ा भी था इसके बारे में. साइकोलॉजी की एक स्टडी है कि a human being, be it Muslim or non-Muslim, cannot live with guilt. At a subconscious level or conscious level, you will try to get rid of that guilt.
True.
तो अब ये एक अच्छा मासूम अम्मी अबू का एक शहजादा पहुंचता है लम्स या कोई और यूनिवर्सिटी यूनिवर्सिटी कोई बात नहीं, he reaches his university and he indulges in a sin. Now that guilt comes. Obviously, all his life he's been told it's wrong. Now he does it and there's a guilt. But he does it again, guilt, does it again, guilt. A point comes where he gets addicted. Now, what does that human do with that guilt? Because psychology tells us that a human being cannot live with guilt.
Either वो ये छोड़ेगा या वो करेगा.
Now, अब वो क्या करेगा? अब वो ये करता है कि या तो मैं अपनी ड्रिंकिंग छोड़ दूं.
सही.
बेचारा नहीं छोड़ सकता, मैं तो एडिक्टेड हूं.
स्ट्रगल कर रहा है.
तो क्या करेगा? वो वही चीज छोड़ेगा जो उसको ड्रिंकिंग से गिल्ट देती है, और वो दीन है.
Or you would start rationalizing it, say, oh, it's halal anyway.
Exactly. And literally every second person is like this. Oh, I don't believe in religion because there's too much evil in Syria.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't even know the prime minister of Syria. You don't even know the population. You don't know anything about Syria. Why are you basing that on what? Like, तो होता यही है कि वो गिल्ट में आके या तो जस्टिफिकेशन ढूंढते हैं या वो ओ मुझे समझ नहीं आता ये खुदा क्या है. दे आहिस्ता आहिस्ता eliminate deen, sharia, religion, God, because that takes away the guilt. And now they're very comfortable agnostics, atheists. I'm not saying, again, I would put a disclaimer here, not everyone's like this.
True.
But there is a major sect of atheists or agnostics that are simply in that situation because they took that line of fitna.
अच्छा, do you feel कि इस तरह यूनिवर्सिटीज़ में और कॉलेजेस में इस तरह की एटीट्यूड ज़्यादा पाए जा रहे हैं कंपेरेटिवली दूसरी जगहों पे, बिकॉज ऑफ द फैक्ट कि दे गिव यू मोर फ्रीडम, एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन जैसा आपने कहा, एंड एट वन पॉइंट बिकॉज एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन और फ्रीडम के नाम पर they get more access towards these things, and then eventually it becomes difficult for them to leave it. So do you think the university environment has a role to play?
Definitely. I am positive that if the university wanted to stop things, they could have. Across Pakistan, I'm not speaking for my universities. Generally, if the university wanted to stop it, they could have. But it's that the oblivious attitude, that blind eye they pay to these kids, that gives them that, unsaid justification कि यार करना allowed है, इधर नहीं करेंगे तो कहाँ करेंगे.
ये वाला जो लेवल है ना कि यहाँ पे जब बच्चे जिस स्ट्रगल से गुजर रहे होते हैं, आई थिंक उनका सोच का भी अंदाज तो काफ़ी मैच्योर होता है. तो इस पे इसीलिए हम लोग यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स पे बहुत फोकस कर रहे होते हैं कि समथिंग दैट कैन एक्चुअली उनको क्लिक कर जाए कि नहीं, आप उसकी एक रैशनल और एक रीजनेबल अंडरस्टैंडिंग देख सकते हो. यू कैन एक्चुअली हैव एन एनवायरनमेंट, एंड इसलिए यूनिवर्सिटी के बच्चों के ऊपर काम करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. हसन, क्या डिफ़िकल्टी पेरेंट्स की तरफ से फेस होती है, इफ़ यू डोंट माइंड मी आस्किंग, कि क्या आपने भी पेरेंट्स की तरफ से फेस किया becoming inclined towards religion, or were they cool about it, or other kids have these issues? Because of course अब माशाल्लाह से आपके पास बच्चे ज़्यादा वो आते होंगे जो माँ बाप खुद willingly भेजते होंगे, बट ये कि पेरेंट्स कितना बड़ा रोल प्ले करते हैं, उनकी क्या कंसर्न होती है, पेरेंट्स को आप क्या बताना चाहेंगे कि अगर आपके बच्चे रिलीजन की तरफ आ रहे हैं तो ये क्या अंडरस्टैंड करें, what would you advise them?
It's these two things go hand in hand. If you can't work on, if there's a kid with you और वो आपसे कोई मसले शेयर कर रहा है, a lot of times you can trace it back to parents, a lot of times. Sometimes obviously positive चीज़ें भी parents की वजह से ही होती हैं. Obviously therapy starts from home. ज़्यादा वो अपने parents के साथ ही time गुजार रहे होते हैं. It's vital for parents to be educated on this. I mean, there's nothing more I can say. It's very important for them to be educated on this. और problem is parents think it's, let's say for example if they want to send their kids to youth club, कि वो एक separate time है, okay बेटा 7 to 9 आपने जाना है वजी भाई की talk में, और फिर घर आओगे, now you should be fine 100%. But if you haven't given them that community, that environment at home, the acceptance कि ये environment सिर्फ वहाँ नहीं रहता, ये environment घर में भी होगा. The father has to come home, spend time with the kids, so that the kids can open up to the father instead. It's sad that we have to be mentors for kids who would rather share their issues with us than their parents. Ideally, it should be the parents. Lekin, alhamdulillah, as long as they're sharing with someone they trust, is good. Lekin, the parents should be that role model.
Why do you think parents have this kind of a distancing behavior? क्यों है? क्या parents प्यार नहीं करते? क्या वजह? Why the kids not opening up with them?
I think some part of it is actually just biological, because kids when they're growing up, it's friends become more important, peer groups become more important, parents become, they still love them, but they won't show it. Okay, they actually love them. They would love them with all their heart, but friends are the main thing. तो वो अभी उस फेज में है कि वो दोस्तों के साथ रहना चाहते हैं. पेरेंट्स के साथ वैसे ही वो डिस्टेंसिंग आना शुरू हो जाती है when kids are 11, 12.
But why? मतलब वो दोस्ती और वो ओपननेस और वो अंडरस्टैंडिंग तो पेरेंट्स के साथ भी डेवलप हो सकती है, बिकॉज उनके साथ रहा जाता है, और ये तो जेन्युइन कंसर्न है कि ठीक है मेरी एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दोस्त है. पेरेंट्स तो चले एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हार्ड एंड गुड टाइम्स दोनों में है. सो वेयर डू यू थिंक द पेरेंट्स आर लैकिंग in terms of building that relationship is the most crucial thing that we need to understand. कि वो आप क्या कर रहे हो, कि वो आपके साथ वो trust develop हो रहा है, वो openness develop हो रही है जो actually parents के साथ होनी चाहिए थी और वो नहीं हो रही.
The way that we feel they developed a trust with mentors and role models was that if we spend time with them, quality time and not just time with them. We're not just sitting there listening to them saying, okay. We're actually spending quality time with them. If they want to play football, you go outside and play football. If they want to play basketball, you play with them. And you don't go easy on them. You actually play with them. And you seriously are committed to that friendship. And you really care about them. And you make dua for them. So you have to do all these things. Uske baad jaake they actually develop a bond. At the end of the day, it's Allah who gives hidayat.
True.
And He just chooses sources to do so. Kabhi parents ke through, kabhi ek mentor ke through. Jab wo mentor ke through hota hai, that's because the mentor is giving him that time. He's not being strict. Sometimes, you have to be strict on certain things. Lekin majority of the times, you're there to listen. You're not there to tell them. You're there to listen. And I would not call myself a mentor. I don't think anyone can call themselves a mentor, because mentor is something that they call you. Someone can consider. I can consider you a mentor, but you've never called yourself a mentor, right? I consider people mentors, but they never call themselves mentors. What parents should do, I think, is be that mentor, so that the kids consider them their mentor. Are parents willing to listen to their kids? If they bring something up, Baba, I went to that school, the way I did the goal, I went to the corner, I kicked him, my friend kicked back. वो बातें अगर अबू से नहीं सुन रहे ना, the kid's not going to share bigger things when he's older.
True.
So the only thing that I could share with parents and say, okay, just please be present in their life.
True.
It's very easy. Just be present. Just be there and be there with a full heart.
इस पे just want to add something. सलमान आसिफ सिद्दीकी साहब बहुत एक अच्छी बात कहते हैं. कहते हैं कि अगर आपको अपने बच्चे में दीन डालना है या दीन का मोहब्बत डालनी है, आप अपना अल्लाह से ताल्लुक देखो. It's as simple as that. When the parents have high taqwa, have a high connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that will inevitably in some shape and form translate into the child. मैं personal अपनी example देता हूँ कि I clearly remember मैं बचपन में हम कहाँ शॉपिंग पे निकले होते थे, गर्मी होती थी, लोग इधर उधर जा रहे हैं, रश है, लेकिन जोहर का वक्त है, और वो ये गंदे से बाथरूम में जाके गली के अंदर जाके वुज़ू किया गया, किसी से एक भाईजान जानमाज है, नहीं अच्छा दुपट्टा दे दें कुछ, वो लगाई गई और नमाज पढ़ी गई. Alhamdulillah, I grew up with my father and my mother doing this. Because of that, the only reason I feel कि alhamdulillah I've been able to hold on to namaz is because बचपन से वही हुआ ना. बचपन से मैंने नमाज पे बस there was no question. मैं चल रहा हूँ, मैं गिर रहा हूँ, मैं घोड़ा चला रहा हूँ, जो है रुकना है, नमाज पढ़नी है. So that's one thing. Another thing that parents need to work on, not parents but generally in mentorship, it's trust. Trust is reciprocated. Trust is not one way. Unfortunately, in a child-parent relationship, trust ना one way हो जाता है. Where the parents expect the child to expect कि हम इसको trust करें, वो हमारा trust ना तोड़े, लेकिन parents का trust कहाँ गया बच्चे के साथ. तो mentorship and जब counseling, alhamdulillah, I've gotten the opportunity to spend time with some children having problems, whatever dunyavi, whatever issues. अक्सर वो ना झिझक होती है, शर्म होती है, एक होता है कि I don't want to disappoint Rohel bhai, I don't want to destroy my parents, whatever. It's at that point where I'm like, listen, मेरी बात सुनो यार, मेरा ये एक मसला है. I tell him my problem कि यार ये मसला है, और बस अजीब मुझे मुश्किल बुरी सी कैफियत हो, समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या करूं, और वो छोटू सा मुझे एक अपना जवाब देगा. लेकिन I honestly didn't need his answer. I had my plan of action. पर उसको एक इम्पोर्टेंस फील किया, रोहेल भाई मुझे अपना मसला बता रहे हैं, फट करके उसके सारे मसले फिर खुलते हैं. So I feel parents can do that, start involving their children in decision making, in concerns and problems. What happens is that parents make their children feel as if they're perfect, the parents, कि हम बिल्कुल perfect, हमें मसले नहीं होते. अरे भाई, open up to them a bit. थोड़े मसले share कर लो. आप एक share करोगे, वो 10 share करेगा. So that's how trust is reciprocated.
I think it's because we view parents more, as kids we view our parents as perfect.
Yeah.
They can't make mistakes. And they're those robots. And once you realize they do make mistakes, that realization happens very late. Okay, they also have a life. They also had a past. They also had struggles. But because of the fact they never shared it, it almost felt like, why would I share it with them when they're perfect and I'm not?
And one thing जो आप लोगों ने कही, which I can actually summarize and be able to say in one statement, कि a lot of times parents realize and know that the kids are part of their lives, but they never realize that they have to make themselves part of their kids' life as well. बिकॉज आप पूरे वक्त काम में होते हो, आउट ऑफ योर एंटायर सिंसियरिटी, योर genuineness in your love for your kids, you're working hard for them, you're trying to bring them stuff, you're trying to be able to give them good education, आप सब करने की कोशिश करते हो. But in this entire process you forget that आपका बच्चा जो है ना वो एक इमोशनल इंडिविजुअल भी है, उसकी एक इमोशनल डेवलपमेंट भी है. आपने उसके साथ टाइम, अपनी प्रॉब्लम शेयर करना, कंसल्टेशन, एंड दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ द रिलीजियस टीचिंग कि आपने अगर बच्चे को रिस्पॉन्सिबल बनाना है तो आपने अपनी एडवाइस के लिए शामिल करना है. जैसे आप लाइक उमर इब्न खत्ताब रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु, डू सो विद अब्दुल्लाह इब्न उमर एंड वुड मेक देम फील रिस्पॉन्सिबल. एंड हम अनफॉर्चुनेटली अपनी सोसाइटी में बच्चों को वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की फील नहीं देते एंड देन एक्सपेक्ट देम कि ऑल ऑफ अ सडन वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को ले लेंगे. And like worry for them, yeah, but at the same time allow them to be able to connect with you. In that entire process of providing them things, like बात कहते हैं ना कि industrial revolution की बात हुई थी. Industrial revolution में parents were struggling to give their kids the basic necessities. Then they grew up and they wanted a better lifestyle. They wanted to give their children better things. Then their children wanted the best of everything. And now they don't compromise on anything. Now, right now, they want your best quality time. They want your presence in their life. And if you're not going to do that, जैसा आपने कहा, then बाहर वाला करेगा. और बाहर वाला आप जैसा नहीं होगा. बाहर वाला होगा, बोलेगा यार एक लगा लो, यार ये पी लो, यार आई एम देयर विद यू. और अच्छा होता क्या, आपने नोट किया होगा ना कि वो बॉन्डिंग बड़ी होती है. आई एम देयर फॉर यू. जैसे हम लोग, मैं कॉलेज में था, आई वाज गोइंग थ्रू प्रॉब्लमैटिक, आई वाज गेटिंग इनटू अ लॉट ऑफ फाइट्स. I was bullied in school for being a decent child. I was like a house captain. I was like a sports person. So I was bullied for my special abilities. कि मैं athlete भी हूँ, फला स्पोर्ट भी हूँ. तो when I got out of school, तो I was like, कि ऐसी की तैसी. I got into a lot of fights. So my parents were very problematic. So देखा था ना, वो एक बॉन्डिंग होती है यार, जिगर आपके लिए फला वो. बट मैंने वहाँ पे भी देखा, जब बाकी टाइम आता है ना, कोई नहीं रुकता. मैंने वहाँ धोखा देखा, मैंने दोस्ती में देखा. लेकिन मैंने बोला कि जब मैं दीन की तरफ आया तो मैंने दीन की तरफ देखा. मैंने बेशक कम है, गिनती के हैं जो आपके साथ वाकई में सिंसियर है ना, जो अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला के लिए की ज़ात के लिए आपके साथ सिंसियर है. दे आर रियली सिंसियर विद यू in terms of not just making you happy, but they will tell you your shortcomings. And that is the kind of friendship you need. Somebody who will tell you, no, you're not supposed to talk to your parents like this. You need to understand their point of view. No, you don't have to go there. And अगर आप provide नहीं करोगे अपने बच्चों को, अगर अपने बच्चों को आप guide नहीं करोगे, तो वो किसी को गाइड कैसे करेंगे? जैसे आपने मेंटरशिप की बात की कि आई थिंक बीइंग अ मेंटर रिक्वायर्स अ लाइफ टाइम एक्सपीरियंस. जैसे कहते हैं ना कि शेख कहलाना भी, शेख उसैमीन रहमतुल्लाह कहते थे कि 40 साल की उम्र से पहले अपने आप को शेख का लक़ब ना लगाओ. मेंटरशिप भी लाइक ठीक है, आप किसी को मेंटरशिप कर रहे हो, फैसिलिटेट कर रहे हो टू बी एग्जैक्ट, पर आप अपनी ज़िंदगी में खुद स्ट्रगल से गुजरे रही. मैरिज हो गया, किड्स की अपब्रिंगिंग हो गई, मे बी लाइक मैं कह रहा हूँ जैसे आपकी एज में मेरे लिए बड़ा टाइम है तो मैं बड़ा बच्चों के साथ टाइम गुजार रहा हूँ. बट व्हेन आई हैव माय ओन फैमिली एंड आई हैव अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड आई जस्ट गेट stuck with this whole rat race of being able to go to a 9 to 5 job or be able to run a business and be able to, तब जरा वही क्वेश्चन हमारे पास आ जाता है, लाइक वी आर नाउ इन दैट सेम स्टेट जो हम पहले दूसरे को बोल रहे थे. And that's how you cope with it, and you be able to learn how to be able to tackle it, and then you realize, now you will share that experience.
And Wajihuddin, this is exactly where that sense of responsibility comes. Like you're saying, I have a family, I have 9 to 5 job, I have to run a business. Hassan and I have honestly nothing going on in our lives. Okay, like we have padhai, we have things. Oh, please, Hassan. But like, I mean, I have padhai.
But that's a good thing.
Exactly. And that's when you realize कि अभी नहीं तो कब, मतलब अभी मैं फारिग बैठा हूँ, अभी हसन आप फारिग हो, मुझे पता है, फारिग बैठे हैं. तो this is the time where we invest. Because अगर अभी नहीं इन्वेस्ट करेंगे तो जब कल को 9 से 5 काम हो रहा होगा और बिजनेस चल रहा होगा, घर वाले होंगे, तो फिर आप कहाँ से निकालोगे? So this is these working, doing dawah in the youth is just a litmus test of whether I'll be able to do it in the future or not.
But this is not being farig.
Oh no,
that's what I want to be able to
for sure
correct. Because फारिग क्यों नहीं है? देखिए, हम समझते हैं हम बिजी हैं. अगर हम बिजी तब होते हैं जब हम monetarily जब कुछ कमा रहे होते हैं, हम उसमें होते हैं. I think free time at this age or in any age, according to hadith of Rasulullah, is a blessing.
For sure.
Because you are becoming future fathers.
Yeah.
But मैं अपनी एग्जाम्पल से दे रहा हूँ, बिकॉज देखो मुझे किसी का नहीं पता, मैं अपनी पर्सनल एग्जाम्पल से दे रहा हूँ. बाय एक्सीडेंट, आई वुडंट से एक्सीडेंट, जस्ट यूजिंग द वर्ड एक्सीडेंट इन टर्म्स, आई गॉट इनटू टीचिंग. वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड वाज लीविंग फॉर दुबई, और मैं कर रहा था बिजनेस जनरेटर्स का और प्रॉपर्टीज और स्टेट्स रियल स्टेट का कर रहा था. उसने बोला यार अब जस्ट गोइंग फॉर दुबई, आई वाज डूइंग दिस एज अ पार्ट टाइम. यार कुरान पढ़ाओगे? इंग्लिश में पढ़ाना है वहाँ पे. I was like, let me think about it, and if I have time, I can actually take this responsibility. I was like, hey, might as well it be a good thing, because मुझे अब्दुल्ला इब्न मसूद रज़ियल्लाहु अन्हु की वो statement याद है कि जनाब कि the only reason why I am sticking myself to teaching the Quran is because the hadith of Rasulullah कि तुम में से बेहतरीन वो है जो कुरान सीखे और सिखाए. I was like, चलो यार मेरी ज़िंदगी में ये वाली अच्छी चीज़ है. बट मैंने गॉट इन टू इट, गॉट कनेक्टेड विद द किड्स लव्ड मी. अल्लाह ताला की तरफ से था. द किड्स लव्ड मी, आई वाज एबल टू गिव देम टाइम. इट मेड मी फील हैव दैट यार आई एम डूइंग समथिंग मीनिंगफुल बिसाइड्स द होल मनी थिंग. And it allowed me to be able to understand the psychology of the kids, how to be able to deal with them, develop self-control, my own emotional intelligence kind of improved.
Patience.
हाँ.
Patience goes very high.
तो मेरी speaking abilities में बेहतरी आई, and so many things which come with the package. So I realized, being involved. Look, people like अच्छा टाइम पास करने के लिए कर रहे हो, ठीक है, हो जाता है, फाइनेंशियली इतना वो नहीं होगा. But they were not realizing कि मुझे millions of worth एक चीज मुझे मिल रही है which you cannot evaluate. So I think you guys are not just free, but you constructively spending time in something which is shaping you as an individual. And this is very much important. So थोड़ा सा हमने बहुत सीरियस बातें करनी है, तो मैं थोड़ा सा जरा आप लोगों के साथ जो है ना कुछ random questions करना है. But I need you guys to be able to answer this very quickly. And I know थोड़ा सा जरा क्लीशे है, but I just want कि हमें भी शो में जरा ऑडियंस को engage करना पड़ता है. I'm going to ask you some random questions.
Okay.
But I need you guys to answer me very quickly.
Okay.
ठीक है? And not take a lot of time. So
will it be one by one, or like we both answer? Like
yeah, one by one.
Okay.
So you're gonna say, Rohil, now your turn or my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first question, if I ask you, and you have to be completely honest.
Okay.
ठीक है? Not that you have to be able to open up a lot of secrets, but what's the most bizarre thing that you've ever eaten?
Most bizarre thing, Cerelac. That's coming to my mind. Yeah, because I have it all the time. I love it.
Cerelac.
Beans on mashed potatoes.
That's good. That's not bizarre. That's a good.
I ate this at a quarantine hotel, and it was a very budget meal. It was sweet.
अच्छा. Wow.
And I just looked.
अच्छा, मैंने जो सबसे bizarre चीज खाई है ना.
But I don't waste food. Ever
Achha.
waste food. Alhamdulillah, I have this. I don't want to waste food. That was the first time in, I don't know, 2.5 years जिसमें मैंने वो नहीं खाया था.
अच्छा.
And it looked weird too, because it was all there was some cheese in it, and there were some the red beans. It looked like somebody just puked in a cup.
Okay. When you said the word puke, I was about to say now you're making me hungry, but you added the word puke to it. Now I would love that kind of fun. Would bizarre thing जो मैंने खाई ना, I don't mind eating spicy food. I went to Thailand, and spaghettis थी उनकी, कोई noodles थी. I was like ठीक है, तो उसमें लेवल थे स्पाइस के. And I was like, कोई फाइन नहीं यार, मेरा क्या, मैं तो नैंडोज का एक्स्ट्रा हॉट सॉस डाल के, पता नहीं क्या डाल के, चिली चिप्स डाल के भी खा लेता हूँ, कोई समझता नहीं. मैंने ऑर्डर कर दिया. I was not able to finish it. थाईलैंड की चिली, I was like literally मैंने जिंदगी में इतनी मिर्ची नहीं खाई. That was one mistake which I realized कि I learned from कि थाईलैंड में जो ना मिर्ची नहीं खाएगा.
This just reminded me, I want to change my answer to wasabi, thinking it's not wasabi. If anyone's gone through that experience, they would know it's not a good experience.
Expecting another answer, cereal.
No, because Cerelac तो मैं अभी तक खा रहा हूँ, और मैं अभी परसों ही खा रहा था, और I'm obsessed with it. Like,
Chale, that's good.
Cerelac's the way to go. But yeah, people.
Second question. What's one piece of advice you would go back and tell your younger self? Quickly.
I think if I could go back in time, I would tell myself that if you think Allah loves you, know that He won't give up on you. So don't give up on yourself. And make sure that you take the exit now. Meaning, if you're involved in something, if you're not attached to religion, sooner or later you're going to, because Allah will keep calling you. So why wait for the 20th call? Why not pick up on the first call? It's like a regret कि यार पहले आ जाता, पहले थोड़ा इसमें focus हो जाता. So yeah, this is to anyone who feels that Allah loves them. Know that Allah will never give up on you. तो जब अल्लाह बुलाते हैं ना अपनी तरफ, पहली बार ही चले जाओ. Don't wait for Allah to keep on sending आजमाइशें until you come. पहली बार ही कॉल आए, बस उठ के जाओ. And yeah, it's the best. Once you have Allah on your side, honestly, like life is so peaceful. Life is so easy.
True.
It gets good.
True.
Pretty good.
Hassan.
I think one very important thing is whenever we make dua na, तो हम दुआ मांगते हैं and then we forget about that dua. And somewhere down the line, the dua gets answered, but we don't know that we actually made that dua. जिसकी वजह से वो कबूल हुई है. And we think, okay, that's just a blessing that just came into my life. If you look back, the duas that you were making, let's say 10 years ago, aren't you there? Right? Aren't you there? So, and the duas you're making now, and you want to be 10 years later, have that trust that Allah is actually going to put you there, because whenever you look back onto your life, उस time पे बड़े मसले होते हैं, बड़ी दर्द होती है, बड़ी pains होती हैं.
सही.
But whenever you make dua, just go up to myself and say, bro, whenever you make dua, you're gonna be there. Like you will be there, inshallah. And if Allah will, so don't be afraid.
अच्छा, I'm a strong advocate of it. मैं personally इस चीज़ को बहुत वो करता हूँ कि not even a single dua that I feel कि मैंने अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला से मांगनी होनी हो या नहीं होनी हो, मुझे पता है it won't go to waste. And दुआ आपका बहुत बड़ा weapon है. And I'm not just saying because a lot of people say this, but शायद उनकी personal ज़िंदगी में ये आँख खोलते हुए, रात के आँख में खोलते हुए, शायद सुबह को उठते हुए, शायद सोने के जाते हुए, घर से बाहर निकलते हुए, शायद उनकी ज़िंदगी में ये हिस्सा ना हो. Because if you're praying at home और आप बैठते हो नमाज सलाम फेरने के बाद या सलाम फेरने से पहले, that is the very रूह of your सलाह कि आप अल्लाह ताला से क्या मांग रहे हो, आपकी परवाह क्या, how strong you believe कि अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला आपकी ज़िंदगी में कोई चेंज ला सकते हैं. So आप मांग लो. And at times I just tell myself कि okay, this is the opportunity where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept your dua and make it. And I have a strong belief कि अल्लाह ताला पूरा करेगा. And alhamdulillah, अगर अब मैंने ये देखा ज़िंदगी में, अल्लाह ने उससे बेहतर ही दिया है, या वो दे दिया या अल्लाह ताला ने बेहतर ही दिया है. So दुआ अपनी ज़िंदगी में. Number 3, if you had to live in another country, which country would it be and why?
Oh, it would be hands down Medina. Yeah, ये आपकी वो जो आप सल्लम की जो saying है कि if whoever passes away in Medina, I will intercede for them on the day of judgment. So who wouldn't want that? And then if you hear about Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anh, how he always prayed कि Ya Allah, make me pass away as a martyr in Medina by the hands of a non-Muslim, someone who hasn't said the shahada.
On the like while praying. All these 3.
Imam Malik, he never left Medina unless he had to leave for Hajj.
Yeah.
So that was the love these great, like my role model inspirations had with, the love for Medina. And then you have a hadith. So where else would I want to? अब तुम्हारे लिए मुश्किल हो गया कि आप तो मदीना नहीं कहोगे, तो you get judged. You can say London.
I was going to say Los Angeles now, so thanks for killing it.
मैंने सरफराज की तरह, my answer also the same.
अच्छा, my answer is also the same. So नहीं, honestly, Medina.
A big, because I would go wherever my friends are. And by friends I mean where my community is. And look, I'm 21 years old. I don't have that life experience right now to know where. I have an idea. I know where I want to be, but maybe what happens is that I get connected to another friend circle, another group, another Islamic circle, and whether it's in the UK, whether it's anywhere else, I don't know. But it's just that this is something that I've just given to Allah. Ya Allah, wherever you want me to settle, I'm going to go there.
True.
It's just such a hard decision for me to make personally. Abhi, I can't leave Karachi. Like I won't even settle in Lahore, for example. Karachi is the place where I want to be. It's honestly just on Allah, whatever He decides.
Chale. What's the worst thing you've ever eaten?
Wait, wouldn't we just answer that?
Yeah.
Worst, you answered the weirdest. Worst
and bizarre fark.
honestly, this was weird.
I hope it's not haram.
No. It wasn't haram. So I went like long ago when Port Grand started. I went to Port Grand. My mama was over from the States, and we all went. And everyone's having sushi for the first time. So I'm really excited. Oh, sushi! And I wanted to be cool. Ki yaar sushi pasan. I want to be a sushi lover. So I'm very excited to have sushi. And then my mamu makes me close my eyes and gives me sushi, and it's the best thing ever. 5 minutes later, I realized he fed me Mr. Burger. I didn't even realize that's not sushi. And the next bite I ate, thinking that it's going to taste like that, it was real sushi. That was the worst thing my tongue has gone through. Like those taste buds were not happy. So yeah, definitely sushi. I don't like
Just
sushi.
don't name anybody's food. Handmade food. They're gonna get personal.
Oh, then I can't say it. Then that's what I was thinking.
Chale, let's just skip. If you had a time machine, which part of history would you go back to?
Again, very easy. I mean, obviously it's very easy, but there's a reason.
Yeah.
These days, I'm getting a lot of friends, people around me having questions about authenticity of hadith, authenticity of tafsir, how it was narrated. So how amazing would it be if I could just go back to that time, this time with all the like resources I have, and just document it and as proof ke bhai sanad sahi hoti hai, bhai ye sahi hota hai. It would be insane. It would really help a lot of people. So that would be an awesome thing to do, to go back to the life of the
To
Prophet,
learn from the
Sahabi, to understand the real Rasul. How did they do it? And bring them back and be like, ye le bhai, this is it.
Yeah.
Although that's really problematic, or usme masle ho sakte hain, but
Next time I'll let you answer first.
Firstly, please. I would actually go about 400 years after that, because
And all the time of Bidda and everything originating from it.
I was about to say golden age of Islam.
Yeah.
I want to see what the Muslims were doing around the time where we feel that they were progressing in many things. And is this something that we as Muslims right now don't even know of? Lots of people don't know that Muslims were actually at a time on top of their fields, whether it came to engineering, whether it came to science, math. Half of the stars we know have Arabic names. And that's because there were so many people who, from having an Arabic origin, जिन्होंने इतनी contributions की थी mathematics में, science के अंदर, physics के अंदर, biology के अंदर, सब के अंदर, that they just named those stars after those people who had achievements. If you went back then, and if there was a Nobel Prize back then, Muslims would have about 95% of all prizes. And now it's barely any Muslim has any.
Achha, I was at the grammar school ना पढ़ा रहा था, तो there was this workshop happening. तो UK से एक scientist आया हुआ था. He called himself the scientist. He's like basically into research work. तो हमारी टीचर्स की सबकी वर्कशॉप हो रही थी, ट्रेनिंग हो रही थी. तो like उसने मुझे बड़ा एक्टिव देखा, सवाल जवाब दे रहा है. तो आई वाज सिटिंग ऑन वन ऑफ द टेबल. सो ब्रेक हुई ना, टीचर्स को कोई टास्क दिया, तो मेरी तरफ आया वो. And he said, he gave me a thumbs up. The kind of answers I was giving, it's like, I really want to ask you one thing. You know, for all the people sitting over there, maybe the beard was one thing. He said, I'm a scientist. I know for a fact कि जितना भी हमने साइंस ने उठाया है ना, there's a huge contribution जो मुसलमानों की है. I want to ask you, what happened? Where did they go wrong? I consider it as a sin. मेरी नजर में ये गुनाह है. If they would not have stopped, we would have been on a different level right now. So, you know, of course, मैंने लंबा चौड़ा उसको जवाब देके बताया about historical battles, about, you know, the Mongols and everything, but at the same time हमारी भी अपनी contribution है. But at the same time, you know, we don't realize कि आज हम बहुत inspire होते हैं और हम बात करते हैं, उनकी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की बात करते हैं. So, you know, that was one thing that I was basically surprised कि he would ask me randomly. All right. What's your most favorite time of the year?
I would say winters.
Winters. Why?
It's a time where most of us have no university. I've graduated now, so I don't have any work right now. So winters mein, usually what used to happen was our friends who are also part of our organization, they fly to Karachi.
Sorry.
And Rohel's here, I'm here, all of us are together. So it's a time where we all can come together, have some fun, talk about religion, Islam, and also develop and bond with the kids who attend our programs. So, and the weather's perfect.
Very good.
Now I know how Hassan feels when you ask the question first, because my answer is also the same, and for the same reasons. But to be specific, हमारे यहाँ होता क्या है कि we all on the night of New Year's, because there's so many parties happening and so many places these kids can go to, we take them not for a New Year's party, but we just take them to the farmhouse and we spend the night there. Sports, talks, bonfires, chilling, everything. But it's just so refreshing, कि इस वक्त हजारों लोग parties पे होंगे, इस वक्त हजार लोग अल्लाह से दूर होंगे, and we're just a small community that's sitting together around a bonfire just talking about religion. It's honestly the best. It's the highlight of the year. True. And what a way to start a new year. Not that it really matters.
Whenever we talk about chilling with friends and stars, for example, मुझे बस एक कहानी याद आती है, आपको भी याद होगी.
Yeah.
हम
शाम के साथ
जब हम लोग गए थे camping trip पे.
We also saw a satellite. We actually saw a satellite moving.
Lots of satellites.
Yeah.
So first day I remember we could see the entire Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah.
फिर बाद में जाके stars were there constantly. We would see shooting stars. We would see satellites. So I remember the last day, me and Hisham bhai, we were standing there, or we were trying to take pictures of the stars, right? And मैंने ना पूरा constantly अपनी science knowledge बहुत flaunt की और बहुत vocally मैं सबको बता रहा हूँ, this is that, this is this, this is that. एक point आया जिसमें ना first initially you were very interested, like mashallah, that's amazing. And then he came up to me and said, yeah, when I was younger, this is about day 3 or 4. When I was younger, तो मुझे बड़ा शौक होता था. अब मैं बड़ा हो गया हूँ, मुझे इसका इतना शौक नहीं है. And then I remember it was day 7, the last day we were there, and me and Hisham, we were in the corner taking pictures. And then I'm telling Hisham about stars. I mean, the star is actually 4 light years away. The light takes 4 years to come. दूर से बात आती है वजी भाई की. Hassan, forget about all these stars. We asked you to clean the tent inside. Hassan bhai is sick. There was another option.
I remember this.
He is sick, and he did all the tent. You should have done that tent. और वहीं पे सारी जो वाइब थी ना जो स्टार देखने की वो खत्म हो गई. शाम को स्टार
मुझे याद है अंदर से कंप्लेन आई थी कि कि वो जो हमने वॉलंटियर सेटअप किए थे सारे शॉर्ट हो गए और बेचारे जो टेंट वाले थे मैनेजमेंट वाली थी ना वो सफाई कर रही थी. I was like, that's leave such a bad impression on the organizers कि यार ये बच्चों को लेके आए गायब हो गए सारे के सारे और हम सफाई कर रहे हैं वहाँ पे मैट्स बिछाते थे ना. But the experience was so beautiful. I remember जब हम फर्स्ट नाइट गए थे तो हम लोग गए थे तो सो बादल बहुत थे तो हम जो है ना पता नहीं कहाँ उतर रहे थे अपना लगेज लेके, हमें पता नहीं था. द वेरी नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग जब उठे ना तो मैंने देखा इतना बड़ा पहाड़, फजर की नमाज हो रही है और फजर की नमाज अंधेरे में हुई थी लेकिन हम जब खत्म हो रहे तो मैंने जब आसपास देखा ह्यूज माउंटेन. आई वाज लाइक सीरियसली ओवरवेल्म्ड फॉर मी. और रात का जो क्लियर स्काई होता था और जो स्टार्स नजारा, दिस इज लाइक ब्यूटीफुल. ओके, लास्ट क्वेश्चन. What would you do for fun if you were stranded on a desert?
He starts now. You've already started with me.
ठीक है.
Oh, I would hands down find some, like anything that can serve the purpose of a surfboard. Or if I don't find it, just start surfing on those dunes. मैं बलोचिस्तान काफ़ी गया हूँ तो बलोचिस्तान में एक एरिया आता है where you have these huge dunes and you can just run as fast as you want and just jump off the dune. No matter how far you fall deep into that soft sand. Itna maza aata hai. I mean, I would do that all night for sure. I know Hassan's answer already. Stargazer.
I don't know my answer. Oh, Stargazer. Yeah, my answer is Stargazer.
I think that
Hassan would be like, I'd stay in the stars.
I think that literally the answer embodies the difference between Hassan and I. Like we're doing the same things, we're involved in the same things for such different reasons. ये बैठा सितारों को देख रहा है मैं उधर ड्यून से कूद लगा रहा हूँ. But yeah,
it sounds realistic imagining you and me doing that.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem out of place.
Yeah, then I can also imagine you yelling at me and getting annoyed.
Yeah, I always do that.
What about hiding a compass in the middle of the desert so that people get stranded for a long time?
Mashallah, Rohel bhai ne, that same trip we were talking about, he taught us how to make a compass.
Sure.
With just a needle, basically just a needle. So you rub it with a magnet
Yeah.
right? You polarize it and then you put that in water and then it floats and it points towards the north.
Desert में water कहाँ से आएगा?
Desert, अच्छा desert का था.
Desert का था.
खैर पीने का पानी तो होगा, हो जाएगा काम.
But in any case, so अच्छा, what are your plans?
My plans?
Yeah.
My plans are to make sure I complete my dunyavi education with ihsan, but at the same time make sure that I use it to benefit deen. I'm studying alhamdulillah काफी अभी course कर रहा हूँ मिफ्ता का. I intend on going to Lahore and studying under some scholars there as well. The goal is that I want to make sure that I master the usuls of deen, tafsir, etc. And at the same time have my LUMS ki degree in education there, so that next time I'm in front of a person, he can't judge me for someone who's uneducated according to his definition. And it just adds weightage, you know, कि दोनों तलवारें लाएं. So I want to fight with two swords, inshallah.
Hassan.
So I know he's gonna laugh when I say my answer.
I'm already laughing.
I'll tell you what happened. I was with that course with Rohel. Because of my exams, I wasn't able to attend the classes. So एक joke बन गया है कि हसन को उसूल फ़िक़्ह पढ़ने का बहुत शौक है, लेकिन उसने एक भी क्लास उसूल फ़िक़्ह की कभी ज़िंदगी में अटेंड नहीं की. That's not the case. I have finished usul फ़िक़्ह classes. My exams just ended, so inshallah I'm going to start continuing that. Lots of people have suggested I learn Arabic first and then move on to it. From a worldly point of view, inshallah, I want to go off and do some further education. Uske baad, I just want to, among this community, among the youth, just want to bring that passion for science back in the kids. And I've done different programs with, I did a program with an organization where I tried doing some science communication in Urdu. Because English के अंदर you can find everything on YouTube, but there's nothing in our local language. और साथ में I also want to start some projects जिसके अंदर we can involve the youth and, you know, get them more interested into science, into academia. Maybe inshallah we can bring, you know, Islam's golden age back. Inshallah.
जो भी हम foundation रख सके, we never know. अब वो कहाँ जाके आगे inshallah अपना पौधा देती है. But at the same time, what would you advise the youngsters? आज की जो खोई हुई lost youth hai, from your experience, because they might be get involved in certain things which you were seeing around you. So what would you advise them?
I think one thing I would advise them is, first of all, there's an understanding behind the advice. And that understanding is that, you know, no matter how jitna dur ho jaye na deen se, beshak wherever they are, jo gunah mein wo involved hai, and be it a Muslim, be it a non-Muslim. Surah Araf mein aata hai कि हमने एक deal Allah से sign कर चुके हैं. It's there. We have signed a deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's our fitrah, that Ya Allah, this life is for you. We're going to spend it for you. So that's there. The issue is just clouded. ठीक है, वो या तो emotions हैं या तो वो intellectual है जो बहुत कम होते हैं, लेकिन intellectual है या कोई experience है, वो फितरा cloud हो चुकी है. तो don't give up on other people. You know, in even these kids, like no matter how distant they seem from religion, उनके अंदर भी खैर है, उनके अंदर वो फितरा मौजूद है. मेरा काम क्या है? वो फितरा निकालना. तो उस फितरा निकालने के लिए, you know, I advise them just to be honest to themselves. Just recently I was in a not debate, I don't like debating, I was in a discussion with a friend of mine who's a bit far away from deen. In the end I'm like, dekho, just be true to yourself. Be true to yourself, and I swear God's help will come. I swear you will reach the right path. Why? Because our deen tells us if you're true to yourself, meaning being true to your fitrah, you'll find Allah. And यही होता है वाजिब, I'm telling you कि वो बैठता है, वो जब सोचता है ना, without weighing the consequences of his thoughts, कि यार अगर मैं दीन हो जाऊँ तो मुझे सब छोड़ना पड़ेगा. You're truly intellectually honest. This is my firm belief, that if someone is true to themselves, they will find Allah. No questions now. They will guaranteed find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. So yeah, that's my advice. कि अपना से झूठ बोलना बंद करो, बहाने बनाना बंद करो. ये इजराइल, ये सीरिया के गवर्नमेंट स्ट्रक्चर की वजह से तुम अभी नहीं कर रहे ड्रग्स, तो मिस्टेक करो कि तुम्हें दिल चाह रहा है. So be true to yourself. Identify your problem. कि भाई मसला है. Get it solved. If you're not going to identify the problem, going to blame it on Maulvis and blah blah blah, you're not going to identify your own problem, and until you don't identify your own problem, you won't be able to solve it. So be true to yourself, find your problems, and then take it from there, try and solve them, and inshallah for sure Allah will find you and you will find Allah.
MashaAllah. Hassan,
Same question.
same question.
What was
I hope
the
it's not nothing to do with the stars.
So an advice I would give to youngsters right now.
What advice would you give to those struggling kids who are involved in and away from Deen?
You know, when I talked about me walking through the streets of London, that experience sort of created a void. And then I wanted to fill that void, but I didn't have any answer then. And because of the fact that I didn't have any answer, I just wanted to go somewhere.
Sahi.
Wanted to feel belonged. Once again, it goes back there. मेरे लिए सबसे आसान solution था कि भाई अपने अगर दोस्तों के साथ दोस्त आपके अच्छे हैं ना, आपकी कंपनी अच्छी है, whatever you're going through, when you're with them, those problems will seem to fade away.
Sahi.
And if you spend a long amount of time with them, then those problems will automatically start fixing themselves. And I think this is a better long-term strategy because many people have doubts. You know, we are social creatures. Islam has encouraged us to go out. Reason why, congregational prayers and or cheezein, community building hai, inviting people on dinner, being good with the neighbors. All of this builds a community. Wo strong community hogi na, Rohel used to say one thing, if you have good friends, if you're not going to feel good flaunting about something you did wrong when you're around them. Even if you're not habitual in praying salah, if your good friends are going and praying salah, you're not going to just sit there. You'll go and stand with them. तो उनके साथ रहते हुए ही आप वो अच्छाइयाँ करने लग जाएंगे और उनके साथ रहते हुए ही वो बुराइयाँ भी आहिस्ता आहिस्ता जाएंगी. So for me, the one advice that I can give is, just change your company, find good company. There is good company. If you don't have it in your place, then try and get those people together and build that community. Obviously, youth club is the first thing that comes to mind. Start there, meet people. Then there are other organizations. Organizations that are specializing in different things. There's leadership, there's brotherhood. Whatever suits you, just at least come. Just start coming.
Stay connected with everyone.
100%.
I just want to add that I think when I say be true to yourself, you can't be true to yourself. I think that's a problem. Nahi ho pata without what Hassan just said. And I think Hassan and my friendship is built on this vision of getting people to find good friends. And honestly, Wajibhai, like the change you see in a person once they start spending time with good company, it's absurd. It's insane कि एक बंदा कितना बदल सकता है. And again, hadith aa jati hai isme. Sometimes these things just constantly reassure कि you're on the right path, like your deen is correct, because har cheez mein hadith mein itni hikmat hai. What did the Prophet ﷺ say about good company? It's like walking into a perfume shop, where when you walk out, regardless if agar aapne perfume lagaya nahi lagaya, you're smelling good. Or बुरी सोबत ऐसे जैसे आप एक blacksmith की दुकान में चले गए, regardless whether you involve yourself in those activities, you walk out smelling. That's exactly what happens with good and bad friends. When you're with good friends, it's just slowly, subtly just translates into you. And when you're with bad friends, and that happens in university a lot, कि आपके दोस्त करें आप नहीं करें, you think oh मैं तो इतना अच्छा हूँ. आप नहीं हो अच्छे, आप बेवकूफ़ हो कि आपने अपना आपको इस सिचुएशन में डाला हुआ है. निकालो, आपको अच्छे दोस्त मिलेंगे. और जब आपको अच्छे दोस्त मिलेंगे ना, I swear to you there's no such thing as अच्छे दोस्त नहीं है.
सही.
मैं बहुत मुश्किल स्कूल्स में रहा हूँ जहाँ अच्छे दोस्त लगता था नहीं है, उनमें भी थे. मज़े की बात यह है, I was in Karachi Grammar School and I used to tell my mom every day कि मामा अच्छे लोग हैं ही नहीं, मुझे करने दें, let me be with my bad friends. आज जो हमारा जो क्लोज फ्रेंड्स ग्रुप है, वी रन दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, उसके अंदर जो 3-4 मेन मेंबर्स हैं सब मेरी स्कूल से हैं. वो मेरे सामने हुआ करते थे. मेरा यूनिवर्सिटी का रूममेट मेरी स्कूल में था, माशाल्लाह, सच रिलीजियस बॉय. वो मुझे दिख नहीं रहे थे. सही भाई, माय एडवाइस इज कि भाई मिलेगा, अच्छे दोस्त मिलेंगे, आप कोशिश तो करो. एंड जब आप अच्छी सोबत में चले गए ना, वही नमाजों में मज़ा आएगा, वही कोई हंसी मजाक में मज़ा आएगा. यू विल गो होम नॉट फीलिंग गिल्टी, यू विल गो होम फीलिंग कि वो मुझे आज सवाब मिले कि मैं अच्छी दोस्तों में था. आई मीन लुक एट दिस, लाइक देयर आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ फ्रेंड्स who are doing random things, playing video games, and I'm with my best friend at this Islamic podcast. Could I have thought of that when I was in school? No. Allah has nikalta hai. And I'm telling you honestly, Hassan and I, or my friends in the tribe we work in, we are not very similar people. I think aaj wazi ho gaya hamare jawab se bhi, hum alag log hain. There's nothing similar between us except it was deen tha.
True. और वो दीन ही काफ़ी था. Meaning today I can't imagine life without my Ustad Isaaq Bhai, Hassan. Why?
वो बस दीन था ना, उसके अंदर इतनी खैर है. एंड दैट्स व्हाई अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला सेज क़यामत वाले दिन अल्लाह के अर्श के अंदर 7 तरह को साया मिलेगा. One of those people are two people friends for the sake of Allah.
For the sake of Allah.
Do you think of it, Wajibhai, how easy is it to make a friend?
True.
Why would Allah on a day where there like people are drowning their sweat give one of those type of people this category?
True.
दोस्त बनाने कोई मुश्किल काम है, लेकिन अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला उसकी एक इम्पोर्टेंस ड्रिल इन करना चाह रहा है कि जिसने दीन की खातिर अल्लाह के खातिर दोस्त बना दिया, उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस इतनी है कि फॉर दैट रीजन ही इज गोइंग टू बी ग्रांटेड द शेड ऑन द डे नो वन वुड हैव शेड. तो it's just our logic, our experiences and deen, they just come together and just create a very compelling case.
And it's also one of the reasons that whatever is done for the sake of Allah is going to be there forever. Because Allah is going to be there forever.
Yeah.
So Allah ने सुब्हाना ताला ने जो भी अल्लाह सुब्हाना ताला के लिए किया जाएगा ना, अल्लाह ताला ने उसको एक importance दी है. And on that day of judgment, that friendship, that closeness which was maintained because only for the pleasure of Allah, Allah has given it a shade on the day of judgment, and that is why it's important. And but इसमें बहुत ज़रूरी है कि इसमें sincerity आपकी बहुत हो, जो दीन ने कही है, और आपकी उसकी एडवाइस हो, आपके लिए उसकी चाहना हो, उसके लिए दुआ करना हो, उसके लिए साथ गुजारना हो, उसके लिए अच्छे उसके खुशी और उसके डिफ़िकल्ट टाइम्स का साथ देना हो. दैट्स व्हाट फ्रेंडशिप इज़ अबाउट.
मैंने अगले दिन एक सेइंग पढ़ी थी किसी स्कॉलर की कि दोस्ती इतनी अच्छी है कि अगर आप सो रहे हो तहज्जुद के वक्त, रात के वक्त आप सो रहे हो तो कोई आपके लिए तहज्जुद पे दुआ कर रहा है, और अगर आप उठे हुए हो तो आप अपने दूसरे दोस्त के जो सो रहा है दुआ कर रहा है. मीनिंग आपकी कभी रात की इबादत मिस नहीं होती इस तरह से, क्योंकि एक बंदा है जो आपके लिए दुआ कर रहा है, और अगर आप सो रहे हो तो वो है, अगर वो सो रहे हो तो आप हैं. What a vibe, what a friend to have, you know. What a beautiful foundation of friendship.
There's also that once you make a friend for the sake of Allah, solely for the sake of Allah, you will start to feel the barakat. That barakat which you will not feel in any other friendship. And barakat is not something quantifiable. I can't come up and give you a definition of what barakat is.
True.
But is this something that you will feel? The benefits that friendship is going to give you, the emotional benefits that it will give you, the worldly benefits that it will give you, but just in every way possible, you just realize ki yaar, how did I miss on this all my life? I had friends who I thought I was so close to. Lekin, wow, this was a friendship that I really needed. This was a friendship that really, really brought in the barakat in my life. So, you know, and this is what makes you think this is so easy and so much fun. Usually when people think about Islamic commandments, they think, oh, ye bhi karna hai, 5 safai, 10 safai. Allah has asked you to make a good friend. And that's so easy and so much fun.
Yeah.
Come on, why not? Like, Islam is not there to make it hard for you. It's just there to make
True.
it easy for you.
And mashallah, it's so good to see the younger generation, the younger lot hai wo aa rahe hain is kaam mein. Now they have venues, they have activities, they have people like you. So I think it's also a blessing from Allah. And the parents have a lot to do with it. And this is the least we can do, contribute in any way possible so that हमारी generation को जो असल हयात है, जो ज़िंदगी है, वो मिले, ताकि उनकी not सिर्फ ज़िंदगी बने बल्कि hereafter बने. So it was lovely having you guys on the show, and be looking forward to it. Inshallah future में भी हमारे और shows हो. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know बहुत सारी बातें थी, but ये है कि thank you so much, Jazakumullah khair, and I would love the youth to connect with you guys and be able to get that environment which you are talking about on the podcast. So Jazakallah khair, Rohil, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Lovely.
High five from far above because we can't हम mic नहीं ला सकते. So guys, this is it. आज का शो हमारा ज़्यादा इंग्लिश में था. मुझे तो अच्छा लगा क्योंकि ऑडियंस ज़रा कंप्लेन करती है हमारी कि जना कि इंग्लिश ज़्यादा हो गई.
Sorry.
No problem. So guys, this is it. Alhamdulillah, we're coming to an end of our today's podcast. I hope आपको अच्छा लगा हो, और अल्लाह सुब्हानहू तआला हमारी इन जनरेशन्स को, जो यंग जनरेशन आ रही है, इनको अल्लाह ताला इनको महफूज रखे, और अल्लाह ताला दीन पर इस्तिकामत अता करे, अपने बच्चों की सही तरीके से परवरिश करे. उसके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आप उनको वो एनवायरनमेंट दें. एंड आज मैं एक बात जानता हूँ कि हमारे पास कोई एक्सक्यूज़ नहीं है. हम अगर कोशिश करें, ढूंढने पे निकले हैं, तो हमें हमारे हिसाब से हर तरह की इन्वायरमेंट और फैसिलिटीज़ अवेलेबल है. सो अपने बच्चों के साथ ताल्लुक़ बिल्ड कीजिए, try and give them time. They need more than your money and just parental presence in their homes. आप उनके साथ इन्वेस्टमेंट करें, उनके साथ just try to get to understand the kind of challenges they're going through. क्योंकि अगर आप नहीं समझेंगे और बाहर वाले ने समझ लिया तो भी लाइक ऐसे हमेशा मैं कहता हूँ कि वो आपको नहीं पता कि वो किस डायरेक्शन में लेके जाएगा. तो अल्लाह ताला हम सब की औलादों की हिफाजत करे और हमें दीन पर इस्तकामत अता करे. अपनी दुआ में याद रखिएगा. एंड ख़ास तौर से हमारे इन यंगर लॉट्स को जो दीन के लिए काम कर रहे हैं अपनी इस्तात के मुताबिक, अल्लाह ताला कबूल करें इनसे. इंशाल्लाह सी यू next Friday with another topic, with another discussion, and looking forward to it. If you really like today's show, please tag people who can actually take benefit from it and share it if you want to. And inshallah ta'ala, see you on next Friday on another podcast episode. Till then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. जज़ाकुमुल्लाह खैर फॉर वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो. इस तरह के और मज़ीद वीडियोस पॉसिबल हो सकते हैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपकी सपोर्ट के साथ. क्लिक ऑन द Patreon लिंक एंड सपोर्ट अस नाउ.